This is Freddie the Fish. He's a happy fish that lives in crystal clear water and enjoys the shade of the tall trees along the riverbank. And he gets lots of insects to munch on each day. I think Freddie feels pretty good right now. One day, Freddie wondered what was beyond this little part of the river. He decided to go on a little journey and explore, so he heads downstream. He's ready to see the world. Along the river, Freddie first comes across a spot where bulldozers are taking out trees and clearing land. Soil and dirt roll into the river because there are no tree roots to hold the soil in place. Poor Freddie starts to get soil in his gills. Without the trees, Freddie notices he's feeling warmer. As Freddie continues down the river, he spots some black and white animals moving closer and closer to the river. While these animals are getting a drink, they drop a present into the water for Freddie. Freddie is not impressed with the smell or the sediment that is being stirred up. As Freddie rounds the corner, he has to dodge a golf ball that nearly lands in the river. The golf club likes to keep their courses looking really nice, so they use a lot of fertilizer. Unfortunately, when it rained last, it caused it to run off into the river. Freddie noticed that this area had a lot of tall plants growing, and actually he was starting to feel smothered. However, Freddie is a trooper and charged on. He was determined to see all the river had to offer. After a while of swimming, Freddie began to notice a salty taste to the water, and he started to feel that sting of salt in his gills. All the salt that was on the road in the winter had worked its way into the river. Ouch! It was really hurting. I don't think Freddie's feeling so well right now. Freddie continues on and passes a picnic site at a local park. As he was passing, the wind began blowing litter into the river from the park. Freddie is starting to feel a little bit distressed, but he keeps moving on. It begins to rain, and Freddie notices this rain is different. It turns out this rain is acid rain caused by air pollution. Along the river edge, Freddie comes across an old abandoned factory. There are a lot of toxic pollutants and rusty materials seeping into the river. This creates a sludge in the river. Freddie tries to swim through. After struggling, Freddie finally gets through the toxic pollutants in the river. Along the side of the river, Freddie notices a man dumping oil from his car right into the river. The oil gets into his gills and he starts to have difficulty with breathing. He gasps and takes his last breath. Boys and girls, this is what kind of happens sometimes in our rivers. I want you to think about this science experiment I just showed you. Look at how poor Freddie looks now at the end of this story. I would like you to answer these questions. You can email them to your teacher. How do you think Freddie the Fish feels as the story goes on? What can you do to make sure that this does not happen to real fish? And if you're up for a bonus challenge, write a happy ending for Freddie's story instead of this sad one that you just saw. Happy Earth Day!